Rich Tehrani. We're at the IT Expo Tech Super Show 2020 in Fort Lauderdale. John Trainor is with us. He's with Aaron's, and we're very fortunate. Quite often we bring you vendors on this show. In this case, we have someone who is a deployer of the technology. He recently announced with CloudGenix that they are deploying SD-WAN in their company. So how are you, and welcome to the show.
Doing well, yeah, thank you very much. Good to be here. It's an awesome show.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Yeah. And it's made better by people like you who actually have deployed this stuff and can give back to the community. So thank you for being here. So how big is your company?
So we're about a $4 billion company. We've got 1,600 stores in our store-based business. Store-based business is about $2 billion of that.
And so you decided that you needed an SD-WAN solution. So tell me, how did you come about that decision?
So the first thing I should say is I'm somewhat the coach of the team and not the quarterback and the running backs that did all the real work. So my infrastructure and support organization, we're just drowning with support incidents related to connectivity, probably call it 4 or so years ago. I would feel that heat a little bit from our store operators that would call me and say, hey, why is our store not connecting very well? And there were a number of things that we wanted to look at, but the thing that we wanted the most is we wanted really good confidence in what was going on with the network. And so when we dug into it, this was 4 or so years ago, we felt that SD-WAN was the right way to accomplish that from a quality of service perspective, visibility, prioritization, those kind of things. So my team came to me and said, we think the #1 place for us to start is with SD-WAN, and that's where we started.
That's fantastic. And then, so your next decision was trying to figure out a vendor, right? How did you do that?
Yeah, so I had a great team that looked at a bunch of different vendors, and they really coalesced, the whole team coalesced around CloudGenix. And there were a number of reasons. The technology was really solid, they felt. The application-centric view of SD-WAN versus more protocol and lower layers, so that thinking more like layer 7 than lower layers, that really appealed to us because I think it's critical for a technology organization to be closely aligned with the business. And if, in fact, we don't even call it the business, we call it the rest of the business because we're part of that business. And to do that, we need to speak in terms that the rest of the business understand. And our network should, the way we prioritize our network should map to the applications that they're using. So CloudGenix was a good cultural fit for us. And then it was clear to us that they were a little bit overpowered for our branches. We have pretty small branches. And I challenged the CEO, Kumar. I said, hey, you're not the right product for us. And he said, why not? And I said, well, you're overpowered. And he said, well, I'll fix that. And so he created a product just for us, for our branches. I think they're using it elsewhere now. But the fact that it was the right cultural fit and the right technical fit, it made sense to deploy it.
Wow, that's really exciting. And then how long have you had it in place?
So we started deploying probably about 3 years ago. It took us maybe about a year with all the POC and early burn-in type stuff. And then we were deploying at a rate of about 70 locations per week. So we got really aggressive deploying. I think we've been fully on probably about 2 years now. It's been night and day, absolutely night and day.
Yeah, describe that a little, please.
Well, I don't get calls all the time from divisional vice presidents and region managers saying that the connectivity isn't good. When I do get those calls, the calls usually go like this: hey, I've got a connectivity problem at this store I'm in, John, what are you going to do about it? And I'll go into the CloudGenix dashboard, I will, a CIO who doesn't know much, and I'll say, hey, is Justin in the store? And they go, yeah, how'd you know Justin was here? I was like, could you tell him to stop downloading music on his iPhone? And then a couple minutes later, they come back and go, magically our connectivity is better. So it's having the visibility into my network as a CIO who doesn't, I mainly do app dev and business solutions type stuff. I just need the infrastructure and support to go well, and I've got a great team to do that. But it's having that level of visibility at my level that really has made a difference. Now, we didn't fix all of our problems just with SD-WAN. But SD-WAN gave us the confidence if we needed to go back to a carrier and say, we're not seeing the right thing on this circuit, we now have the confidence to do that. Or if we're troubleshooting a problem with our VoIP phones, we have the confidence we've ruled out everything else.
That's great. Now, a lot of companies are considering going through digital transformation and changing the way their apps are and upgrading their branches above and beyond connectivity. Is that something you guys are also doing, or is this purely a connectivity play?
Absolutely, it's something that we're doing, and I believe digital transformation is not a technology thing, it's a culture, process, and technology thing. In fact, I think a lot of CIOs lead with technology. They think, oh, if I do blockchain, I'll be digitally transformed. If I do SD-WAN, I'll be digitally transformed. And it starts completely with culture, and then how you do your processes, and then the technology. We needed our network to be something that was nimble, agile, configurable, hence SD-WAN, for us to be able to do the other things that are related to process. So if we look at a lot of traditional retailers, they'll deploy their point of sale system, maybe quarterly, maybe once every 18 months, I'm not really sure. We deploy our point of sale system on average 2 times per day to production to 1,600 locations. We just hit a high watermark, or low watermark, I should say, of being able to deploy our point of sale system in 15 minutes and 7 seconds, all fully automated. And so we're able to achieve a certain clock speed that you need to digitally transform, and that's what I mean, changing your culture, changing your processes, and then that technology layer needs to support it.
That's great. So one final question, any tips you can tell anyone else who is looking to do something similar? What should they know? What landmines are there that they shouldn't step on? And anything else that you want to share?
I think it starts with partnership. Partner with a company that you feel that you can trust and really validate that. Think less that you're buying hardware and you're buying a relationship, because the nature of SD-WAN is it is hardware, but it's also the software in the cloud that provides that. So make sure you have a lot of confidence around that part of the transaction. Then really burn in the solution well before you massively scale. We had a decent burn-in phase with some pilot stores where we learned a great deal. Learn in small batch before you expand it, but then once you do that, have the confidence to go aggressive, because you will be so much happier on the other side of that transition, because you'll now have things in your network that you never were able to do, you now can do in a few minutes.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, I love it.